Hello and welcome to Jamestown. Today we will discuss the struggles, the successes, and the buildings in Jamestown. First struggle we will talk about is the colonists spent all their time looking for gold. What they did is John Smith took control and required discipline. He required each colonist, despite their position, to work 4 hours a day. Second struggle was the Virginia soil wasn't conducive for growing traditional crops. What they did was John Roloff experimented with a seed from the West Indies and ultimately began to grow tobacco, saving the colony from devastation. Third struggle goes with 1 and 2 because the colonists began to starve in the winter, and this was called the starving time. What they did was the colonists began to eat everything they could get their hands on. They even began to eat the dead, rotting people as a source of food. Fourth struggle was the tobacco was labor intensive. They needed men to work the fields. So what they did was they offered tracts of land to men willing to come to the colony and work 3 to 5 periods as an indentured servant. Fifth, the Native Americans conflict. What they did to start the conflict was, at first, the Powhatans helped the colonists survive in the early years, which forged an alliance. Then, during the starving time, the colonists raided the Native Americans for food, which led to conflict and even death. Now, we will discuss the model of Jamestown, which you will see behind me. First, we will discuss the common household. This household is one of the common households. The common household had commoners or colonists that lived in them. They were very simple homes. They were enough for survival. Next is the barracks in Jamestown. Barracks in Jamestown. The barracks are a building or a group of buildings that held or logged soldiers, especially in a garrison. So these were the beds that the soldiers would sleep in. This is the swords. Their guns are on the second row, and their musket balls are in the third row. Their muskets are right there. Then they got their armor in here. Next, Jamestown also kept their weapons and soldiers in these barracks to keep them alive. The soldiers helped them survive. Third, the storehouse is right here. This storehouse. The storehouse has chests in it. They stored extra tobacco and alcoholic drinks in here. The storehouse is a place where they stored extra abundant supplies, which alcohol and tobacco was some of their abundant supplies. Next is the Church of Jamestown. The Church of Jamestown is pretty cool. They got the cross on the front and back of the church, so you know which is which. Then when you walk in, you got chairs where they sat in. You get the stand that the preacher or religious individual stands up here and talks. You got your holy water. Yeah, pretty sweet. It was a building for public worship. A church is a building for public worship. Next is the Counselor's Row. Let's go over here. The Counselor's Row is right here. I gotta find the doorway. Okay. The Counselor's Row. The Counselor's Row is where they conducted meetings. They conducted meetings in this area for Jamestown. The representatives of Jamestown conducted meetings. You got the big table and chairs where they sat and talked. Then the governor's house. You come over here to the governor's house. He's probably one of the richest and wealthiest people here in Jamestown, because he was the one that was the most probable to be governor, and the governor's house housed him. He has a pretty fancy house. Next is the bulwarks. There's 3, one right there on that corner, and one right over here. The bulwark has cannons on it. The cannons protected and gave defense for him. A bulwark is a wall of earth or built from other material that is used for defense. That's why they got cannons on there. Next is the farm. The farm is over here. You grow your tobacco and wheat, where you use tobacco as the main source of export for money, and then you got your wheat for survival. A farm is a tract of land devoted to growing crops, which they're devoting crops and raising animals, which I think they did grow crops and raise animals. This is the factory. The factory is a building or a group of buildings that facilitates and manufactured goods. These are the breweries. You brew your alcoholic drinks, and then you got these here for to fill your bottles with water, and then you can brew them in there. Next is the burial ground over here. This is where they buried lost ones from disease, starving time, all that. When they buried them, they put flowers on, like right in front of them or next to them, as a sign of respect to their individuals that died. This has been my Jamestown model. Thank you for watching.